At the end of its screening at the 55th anniversary of the Cannes Film Festival, this film received a 13-minute standing ovation. It explores the nature of violence in the U.S., with the focus being on guns as the controversial symbol of American freedom. Much of the film is a rhetorical why. Why would two normal teenagers go on a rampage killing 12 students and then themselves? Michael Moore bowled the nation over when he slammed President Bush during his Oscar-winning acceptance speech. Moore said, "Whether it's fiction of duct tape or fiction of orange alerts, we are against this war, Mr. Bush. Shame on you, Mr. Bush. Shame on you. And anytime you got the Pope and the Dixie Chicks against you, your time is up."
She was a British cargo and passenger ship that was torpedoed and sunk by a German submarine on May 7, 1915. Although considered non-military, she was torpedoed without warning. She sank within 18 minutes. 2 explosions rocked the ship. The first was caused by the torpedo. The second explosion remains the source of much controversy. She was nicknamed Lucy. While 761 were rescued, almost 1,200 perished. Her sinking changed the rules of war. Scientist Maurice Wilkins once said, "The gooey gel is just like snot." Despite her contribution to unraveling its mysteries, scientist Rosalind Franklin never received Nobel recognition. The award can only be given to the living. This discovery has led to a multi-billion-dollar industry, allowing man to play God with biotechnology and genetically modified foods. Known as deoxyribonucleic acid, its unraveling has shown that 99% of the genes in a mouse have direct counterparts in humans. A person's sex, age, and race can be found by examining
It is the second fastest and most recently approved stroke regulated by FINA, the International Swimming Federation. Developed as a variation of the breaststroke during the 1930s, it was first swum as a separate Olympic competition during the 1954 Games. Employing the dolphin fishtail kick, the stroke requires 2 kicks to each arm action, and flutter kicking is not allowed. Michael Phelps, called the greatest swimmer of all time, won both the 100 and 200 meter gold medals in the fly at the Athens Olympics.
Luftwaffe airfields provided scrap rubber for the inventor who fashioned the first pairs, but they really took off later under the Airwear name. The movie Tommy paid tribute to them in a big way. Pinball wizard Elton John rocked in a pair over 4 feet high. Pope John Paul II and his staff have white ones. Sid Vicious and other punkers laced up classic red or black. Dr. Klaus Merton's boots have added kick to the wardrobes of skinheads, mods, and punks since the 1960s. Five Navy bombers on a training flight went down here in 1945. Neither they nor the search and rescue plane were ever recovered. It was first noted in 1950 by an AP wire service regarding recent ship losses in the area. The article ascribed it the name the Devil's Sea. This supposed paranormal site was the subject of Charles Berlitz's best-selling book, which documented and charted a variety of unexplained disappearances. This triangular area is roughly bordered by Bermuda, southern Florida, and Puerto Rico. Much of the Bermuda Triangle theory has been referred to as oceanic flatulence. Lloyd's of London has determined the triangle to be no more dangerous than any other piece of the ocean.
Norma Shearer, wife of MGM's Irving Thalberg, discovered her in a photograph at a ski resort where her parents worked. Her negotiated contract of $50 a week was tripled in her first movie, The Romance of Rosie Ridge, opposite Van Johnson. The terrifying shower scene in Hitchcock's Psycho caused her to take only baths, and even then only if she could see the bathroom door. She was married 4 times. Her 2 daughters, Kelly and Jamie Lee, were from her 11-year marriage to Tony Curtis.
Located in Washington State, this mile-long suspension bridge spans the waters of Puget Sound. The original bridge was nicknamed Galloping Gertie. She was completed in 1940 and collapsed just 4 months later. Galloping Gertie got her name from the way she would sway and buck in windy weather. Drivers would see oncoming cars disappear into valleys. The owner of the car narrowly escaped death. He crawled 500 yards to safety. His dog Tubby refused to leave the car and drowned. One of the most respected toy companies in the world, it began in the workshop of a Danish carpenter. The simple wood bricks evolved into plastic and developed to include gears, axles, and even rack and pinion steering. Partnerships with Lucasfilms, Warner Brothers, and Disney have resulted in new sets being developed. The name comes from the Danish lagat, which means play well. In Latin, it means I put together. What do Mount Rushmore, an elephant, and the White House have in common? They can all be built with Lego.
In 1921, it suffered a blow in England when the official association outlawed women from playing on grounds that it was distasteful. It's the most prominent team sport for women in many countries, and one of the few women's team sports with professional leagues. In 1999, Brandi Chastain scored the winner in a penalty shootout. In keeping with tradition, she tore off her shirt. It's known as football in most of the world, but call it what you will, the women's version is played just as intensely as the men's.
In 1917, he invented the Hydrodrome, a hydrofoil boat that set a world water speed record of 70 miles per hour. In 1881, he invented the metal detector, which was first used in an attempt to find the bullet lodged in U.S. President James Garfield. After spilling acid on his pants, he's known for saying, "Watson, come here, I want you." In 1888, he co-founded the National Geographic Society, but he'll always be remembered as the founder of Bell Telephone. In an interview with Diane Sawyer on Good Morning America, he sprayed her with silly string. Items that sellers on eBay were offering included strands of his hair, bottled air from his neighborhood, and a page from his coloring book. While en route from Cuba to Florida, the raft he and his mother were on sank. She died, but he was rescued and taken in by American relatives. In a pre-dawn raid by federal agents, El Niño Milagro was taken from his Miami relatives and returned to Cuba to be reunited with his father.